What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we're going to continue working on our Toyota Camry. We're going to be changing our suspension that, if you can remember, the tire was slightly bent in, and we're going to be taking the doors off of our flood Camry and putting them on so we could check for any gaps and see what needs to be cut on the rocker panel, if we need to cut here or here. So let's get started and see if we have any hidden damage. Alright, so the first step is we're going to take the suspension off this car and we're going to keep it together as much as possible.
Yeah, first we had to take the seat out and the side airbag to get to these 3 bolts. That's what holds the shock in place at the top.
And there's only a few bars holding it in, so it doesn't seem like much.
Yes, a bar here, tie rod, sway bar, so it's not that much.
So let's take the suspension off the flood car and then put it on this one. So let's get started.
Alright, Tyler's starting out by taking off this brake line. Then he's going to remove the brakes. That way we can get this whole rotor off. Because there's a parking cable that's connected in here and that's not going to let us drop it down. So we're going to get all this off and then start taking the bars off. Alright, Tyler had a good bit of trouble getting this brake rotor off, and one little tip is get 2 bolts, and these bolts, they screw in and it pushes up against this flange and it helps it pop off. And also make sure you don't have the parking brake on. A lot of people do that. The parking brake will be set and it holds this in, but that wasn't our case. But being that this car was wrecked, it looks like this flange is bent. So that's why it was caught up against these holes, the lug nuts, and that's why we had so much trouble getting it off. So hopefully this flange took all the damage and there's no frame damage. So far that's a good sign. All right, we got the brake shoes off for the parking brake. Now Tyler's getting the cable that goes to the parking brake, taking that off. We're just looking at everything. I think we could have just changed the hub because it looks really bent. I don't really see any damage, but since we got the flood car, we're going to go ahead and change out all these rods, tie rods, all of it, just in case there's any damage to it. So you should be able to just slide that out. There you go.
Alright, so we got this bar disconnected, but we're going to keep the bar connected to this hub, and then we're going to start disconnecting these bars, and then we can pull the suspension out. All right, we got the bent up suspension out, and now we're gonna put the good suspension from the flood car in.
All right, I think the best way to do this is we're gonna try to get these 3 bolts back in with maybe 1 or 2 nuts on it and just kind of let it loosely hang, and then we can fit everything up. This should be the hard part here. All right, you're going to get some nuts and thread on there.
All right, we got all the bolts in and we left them loose. That way we can get them fitted. Now we're gonna go and tighten them all up.
Just snug them all up, and then we're gonna go around and I'll torque them to the right specs after.
All right.
That's good. And we'll do the one over here. You're going to have to lay on your back under the car. So far it's going together pretty smooth. The only thing I'm worried about is getting these brake shoes back on. That's probably going to be the hardest part of all of this. Tight?
Yep, I think so. All right, we got the parking brake complete. That was like our hardest job so far, but we took pictures, so that made that a lot more easy. Now we're gonna put the rotor on and connect the disc brake, and then the whole suspension should be finished.
All right, put the rotor on, make sure it all lines up. And then grab that, take those 2 bolts, these 2 out, and we'll put that on. Then we get that disc brake and put on there.
All right, we got the suspension 100% complete. Now we're gonna put this new tire on. We're not gonna put the same one that was on before because the rims are all scratched up. So let's go ahead and put this on, and then it should be 100%.
All right, I'll put the tire on for you since the doctor didn't clear you yet 100% from the collarbone surgery. This is going to be the moment of the truth. If all this work was worth it. Okay, as tight as I can get it in the air. Let me jack it up and get the jack stand out.
Looks straight to me.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's one issue fixed. We'll get all the lug nuts back tightened down. Put the doors on, see if what kind of gaps we have. That way we know where to cut it. All right, I'm super happy how this is coming along. So let's get the old suspension, bring over there to the flood car, because Mama's wanting to get that out to carport soon. Take us a lunch break, come back, get on these doors, and we'll see how the doors fit. All right, let's get our dirty hands cleaned up and go get us some burgers.
All right. All right, we just got back from eating lunch. Now we're gonna take these doors off of the flood car and bring them into the garage and place them on the new car.
Ready? All right, we'll pack this in there and start working on that door. All right, we just got the front door on. I don't know how the pros do it, but I doubt they use all these kind of blocks like this, but that's the only way I knew to hold it up. So I think most people probably would do the bolts on this side of the, not on the door, but on the actual frame. But I didn't want to take the whole fender off, so it may be harder to try to line it up this way. So let's close it and see how it looks. Closes good. That's lining up. All these gaps are the same. That's what you want to look at, this gap versus this gap, and then how all these gaps line up. So it looks like it lined up perfect on the first try. So let's get the back door on. This is the one I'm worried about. I don't know if it's even going to close because this is humped in. So we're gonna see. I'm worried that this frame right here might be a little bent. If it is, then we'll cut it here and change out this whole piece versus just this. So let's get the back door on, which will be a lot easier because I'm out of breath, but it's a lot less weight. It should be easier. So let's try that. All right, I'm gonna put it up there. You get one of those bolts. I'm gonna try to just line it up. This door's way lighter. All you gotta do is get it started. Get one on the bottom started.
All right, I just got the back door on. I'm gonna shut the door and see how good it lines up. And then you can shut the front.
Looks good. How's the gaps look?
It actually looked pretty good.
All these are the same. This might be a tad bit higher than that, which will fine tune everything, but this gap's perfect. So we're not worried about this because we're gonna cut it here. I think it all is pretty good. A long day today, a lot of work. Got the suspension done, 2 doors. Now we know that B-pillar is good, so we can cut it here and here and get that welded in. We'll probably get it all removed in the next video. So that's probably gonna be it.
So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, shoot us an email or leave us a comment. We respond to everyone. and give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you next time.